Rival cannot guarantee their spot. They're going to need energy to do that for them. So this game basically just for Rival to kind of reset and get their minds back in the right spot before Valencia.
Well, Rival banding away Naja immediately against Cherio. They were like, no,
we've had enough. No mas, please. And I think that Rival got the memo there that a lot of teams had already had previously. I mean, when Cherio was jungling for London Conspiracy, this was a ban that even when he wouldn't pull it out for weeks consecutively, it still got banned against him. And this was when Naja, again, was not meta. And now it is, and you saw what Cherio can do on it.
And Cherio's been able to do this on such high ping from home, because this is the online portion of the SPL. Whenever he comes to a LAN, he's just an absolute Lanimal. But he's been able to make the plays with such a high skill cap required guide as Naja in about almost 180, 200 ping. And his frames, by the way, it's like around 40 frames.
Miss me with that setup, that's for sure. Nemesis, the other ban for Rival, still focusing out the jungler for Elevate. Elevate instead going with very similar bans to game one, Osiris and the Fafnir. Rival first picked Soul in this position last time around. This time, they didn't like Sun Wukong for no numbers, gonna take it for themselves.
And the thing about Sun Wukong, though, the reason why we've seen him a little bit more often here in the SPL is the Gladiator Shield. It's this cheap version of Breastplate of Valor that works very well with him, considering his cooldowns are already relatively low at 10 seconds for his first and second ability. You add Gladiator Shield, that 10% makes it 9, and you're able to really win out these trades, considering you get that health and mana return after every ability cast.
Rom and Bologna, the picks for Elevate. If Rival has Deathwalker here, I guarantee that first pick selection's a Bologna, but with that sub, going to have to change their game plan accordingly. Susano is left open for Ice Ice Baby. He's going to take this for himself, a god that he is very, very comfortable on and really synergizes with his aggressive playstyle.
Especially considering how mobile this god is. You add Terra to the mix with that blessing from her ultimate, you're looking at a very aggressive Ice Ice Baby. Now the question is, can they shut down Cherio and No Numbers? They can't afford to get invaded on the blue buff this time because the Sun Wukong needs his mana pool.
He absolutely does. Doesn't have that innate mana sustain anywhere in the kit, and doesn't go Death Toll either because he's ability-based, so doesn't get a lot of mana back. Nox the pick here for Nulissa this time around. Nox, a character that was once reserved for, you know, MLC Stealth, Shadow Nightmare, and Pretty Prime. Those were the only guys who played it. Now everyone seems to be starting to put this goddess into their god pool.
It's very difficult to really engage against a Nox in close melee combat, especially when Susanoo, he's looking to use his jet stream in, find a pull, Storm Kata, and then try and dash away. But that Silence Cloud is going to disrupt that whole combination. That's the whole game plan from Elevate, just making sure Ice Ice Baby doesn't get a free engage off.
Smart Ares ban from Rival. That's one of Dardaz's best characters and would have been very difficult to deal with on the side of Rival, so wise ban there. Erlong Shen this time going to be in Elevate's favor, so a complete switch around potentially, though we don't know if that's going to be Bologna in the jungle or the Erlong Shen. Both can kind of fill that role. Have to wait and see there, where Rival rounds out their draft with the Vulcan and the Kernos.
Could also be maybe Erlong Shen for Dardaz. It's not something that we've seen very recently from him, but a lot of supports have been experimenting with some of their what is this? Nox and Isis?
Nox support? That's what it's got to be, right?
I'm confused.
That's what I would assume. I mean,
I've never seen this.
Almost every support I talk to says, man, I wish Nox was a support, because she has a lot of crowd control.
True.
She has a lot of disruption. Her peel is not great. I mean, you're really relying on that root, but we'll have to wait and see. Going into game here with Elevate, throwing everyone for a wrench with this draft. 2 warriors, 2 mages, and it is going to be Dardaz on the Nox support.
So picture this. You know how Khepri has Rising Dawn?
I do know that.
Dardaz's Nox has a similar feature with the ultimate. You don't have to use it for kill confirm at the end of a fight. You can use it to engage a team fight to mitigate a lot of the damage from the opposing team.
I like what the Little Legend is doing, making sure that No Numbers can't get in between the towers and proxy. This is something that Bologna's really like to do, that bludgeon and AoE cleave. Allows you to proxy that, but with Ice Ice Baby here, I don't know if No Numbers knows that jungler is lurking.
Nah, definitely not. So doing a very interesting strategy as a hunter that goes for a Bumba's Mask, you're really looking to clear out the red buff first to be able to get into the lane and then do your purple buff. So you're going to hit level 2 off of those 2 buffs, and then once you get into the lane really quickly here, especially as a ROM, you're really looking to put pressure during that second wave.
Uh-oh, Ice Ice Baby might be in some trouble here, Toli, if he decides to use that Storm Kata to try and clear the wave. No, it's Little Legend who's the one has to retreat, losing a lot of HP. Does have 2 health potions still in tow, but gonna have to use them both most likely. No Numbers has to pop one of his own as he's taking quite a bit of damage. Cheerio on this Erlong Shen in the jungle, a little bit more setup oriented than the Bellona. I think that this is the better warrior in the jungle, but so many teams have just fallen in love with Bellona anywhere they can put her. We've seen her kind of forced into that jungle role multiple times.
It's no problem to have Bellona in the jungle or in the solo lane, but you're really looking to try to exploit a specific matchup. You want to have that Bellona in that solo lane because winning a matchup for a Bellona or an Osiris, you're really looking to not only get some solo kills, but make a huge impact on those rotations. And the way Elevate has been playing this whole set is just been leaning on shutting down Ice Baby and Little Legend to start things off.
And is this a winning matchup for Bellona in this lane? Sun Wukong Bellona is one we've seen quite a bit of recently. Who does this favor?
Even though Sun Wukong can disrupt the bludgeon, it's still an advantage in the early laning phase for a Bellona before Sun Wukong starts maxing out either his cudgel or the Master's Will. There's going to be a lot more trades going in the favor of No Numbers between that level 1 Scourge just sustaining so much, especially with the Death's Toll.
So does it turn around, like you mentioned, whenever Little Legend maxes out one of his abilities, and the Gladiator Shield, I imagine, is a big boost in terms of boxing potential.
That's when the matchup starts to slowly shift towards Sun Wukong's favor, but you're really looking towards trying to push the wave under the tower of the Sun Wukong and trying to get that little bit of a power spike.
Cheerio with absolutely no fear, just going all aggressive up against Ice Baby and Wolfie in that mid lane. Nilissa there to support as well. Kala's taking a decent bit of damage, forced into his Bracer of Undoing on that left-hand side. Interested about this Nox support, Toli. I mean, you're right. I mean, that ultimate does act as a shell for your team, basically, giving damage reduction to everyone on the other team, making them do less damage. But it is a long-range skill shot, and supports usually don't have to worry about those sorts of abilities.
It's also trying to focus out his counter opposition on Callus. Terra has to dash through that Monolith to get off the root. So once the Monolith comes up, Dardus is going to drop the Silence Cloud, and as soon as the dash happens, it's going to get interrupted halfway through, preventing the whole combination from going off.
And that would mean that Callus is stuck without a dash, stuck down the creek without a paddle. No Numbers looking to steal away the big Fire Elemental, but Rival do manage to secure it. 3.5 minutes in, Rival already off to a much better start than they were at this point in game number 1.
Yeah, I think they had about 2 deaths already at this point. 1 in the solo lane, 1 in the duo, so it's looking a lot better for Rival, but still not able to really get their blue buff here, and that's a speed buff contention.
2 ultimates used just to secure it. Ice Baby does do it, but Wolfie is going to be the price they pay. Nulissa finds the first blood for Elevate. Ice Baby has to use his purification beads to get away from the combination from Dardez, who showed up to that engagement as well. Big plays from Elevate, find the first blood.
Aegis Amulet not able to buy Wolfie a second life that time around. Great rotation from Dardus, just sticking his head right around the corner, and Callus with a Terror just not able to make the same kind of impact here. Yet again, Elevate, they're sticking to their guns of just positioning themselves around the solo side jungle.
This has been a very concerned effort from Elevate to shut down Ice Baby, at least with these 2 picks that they've gone for in the jungle. Both Naja and Erlong Shen incredibly impactful in the early game. It was Cheerio farming up those back right Harpies after that last engagement and then rotating over to Rival's blue buff. That's what you expect to see. Ice Baby, no purification beads, and there's plenty of CC on this Elevate squad. Not a lot of it guaranteed CC, but outside of Cheerio's control, but Nox Erlong Shen is a pretty potent combination. Just wonder if that ice is going to be enough follow-up damage to find the kills.
Oh, it's going to be interesting to see these team fights roll around for Elevate, because they're going to have Cheerio's taunt. Hold that thought, though, in the solo lane, trading out ultimate. Little Legend will be fine. Oh, I thought he was going to heal a little bit and stay in the lane, but only having Boots 2 here compared to Boots 3 from No Numbers has to make sure that he doesn't fall too far behind.
Gonna back and pick up his own Boots 3 as Wolfie gets controlled again. There's the taunt in from Cheerio, but good root from Kalas locks the jungler in place. Dardez wasn't there in time to follow up off of Cheerio CC, so Wolfie able to escape.
If Dardes was right there, if he was like 2 seconds quicker, Nalissa would have been able to follow up with her Spirit Ball. Ice Ice Baby, though, taking half of his health right off the bat. No Numbers is here, also making the rotation. Very confident in his boxing potential just because he's Bologna. He has the kit to be able to take these 1v1 exchanges, especially at level 7. And Ice Ice Baby just trying to sustain off of the backs.
Elevate has just been in Rival's jungle all game long. And you mentioned the transformation of Nalissa, her new God Pool, Cherio looking much more comfortable in the jungle. And those things, I agree, are a big reason why Elevate is starting to have a better showing in the SPL, but No Numbers for me, Toli, has started to look very, very competent in this solo lane. Really, I mean, game 1, he was dominant.
It was all about his rotations from the small advantage. You get an advantage between Cherio and No Numbers by invading the enemy speed in the blue. You're looking for these rotations, whether you're a Sun Wukong or a Bologna. You're just able to really freely roam that side of the map, making a relatively good impact in the early game. He's gotten several kills and assists from that first game, and I'm expecting with the pressure so far from Elevate on the right side that this is going to be a reoccurring theme.
They've definitely been looking at Ice Ice Baby, and this has been a strategy against a rival that has shown some fruit. I mean, Ice Ice Baby, for me, Toli, has been pretty feast or famine during this entire split. He either goes off and has an incredible game or really falls behind and has trouble catching up.
It's all about the momentum for junglers, and Ice Ice Baby lives or dies off of this momentum, especially on a god such as Susanoo that has so much mobility in the jungle. But if you don't have the speed buff, a lot of your mobility gets cut off, and Rival are just getting punished every single time that buff spawns. Now, granted, Ice Ice Baby did get his last buff, but he's still 3 levels behind. He's not able to really stay in the lane because he gets poked out so hard. He has to go back to the fountain just to get the health, and every time he makes that trip back, you're looking at about 20 seconds worth of travel time that's not being used to farm.
And now that speed buff's due to respawn any moment now. Look exactly where Cherio is. Rival this time, they don't feel like fighting that. Instead, trying to look for the Gold Fury, I'd imagine, or at least a kill on this side. Ice Ice Baby actually uses the Wind Siphon before he teleports to the jet stream.
A little bit of fatty fingers there for Wolfie. We've all been there when we accidentally press a button that we haven't meant to, especially when we're typing or we're using our VGS commands, and then all of a sudden you accidentally use that relic.
Kalas,
that's the worst.
Gonna get taunted by Cherio. Nice double knock up, and Kalas gonna fall before he can even get his ultimate off. Another kill goes Elevate's way. You can make that 2 as No Numbers finds the solo kill in the solo lane onto the little legend.
It's not very often that you can say you've soloed anybody in the SPL in the solo lane, but once in a blue moon, you can. No Numbers, though, gonna get punished without having his ultimate. Ice Ice Baby needs to find this kill.
No way, the jet stream doesn't hit. Kalas respawns and throws out that Terra's Blessing. Ice still looking for the kill. No Numbers jukes back around the mid-harpy wall, and he's gonna escape. Ice Ice Baby will not. Cherio with the kill. That's his second, and continues to find that XP lead. Vote is the only one who's trying to remain, who's doing a decent job of remaining close to their opposition, though Wolfie within about a level to Nalissa in the mid lane.
That is so unfortunate for Ice Ice Baby, because now he's going to have to yet again wait for more farming time. Had he gotten that kill against a level 10 Bologna, he gets a big boost in experience, able to catch up slightly to Cherio, and then he would have more time to farm in the jungle. But not only did he not get the kill, he dies in return, not able to get off any abilities to escape there, and now he's just struggling 4 levels behind.
Look at the net worth, totally. I mean, Ice Ice Baby's all the way at the bottom, below Kalas even, just has not been able to make an impact so far in this game. And if I'm other teams going to DreamHack, and you assume Rival's going to make it unless Enix 2.0's energy, I'm looking at how can I shut down Ice Ice Baby, because Rival has consistently struggled when that's the game plan against them.
You can really tell when a team is a little too comfortable and when a team has definitely done their homework and preparation. For example, Rival not banning out Naja in game number 1, Elevate specifically developing a strategy towards shutting down Ice Ice Baby, the former MVP, towards that gauntlet that had a huge performance as he's adapted towards the meta, but not adapting towards this set at all.
Look at where he is now. Ice all the way up in that lane. He's got great mobility, but I don't know if that's going to be enough. Jermaine's got the snipes. Dardes does miss that ultimate, but Jermaine will not. Another kill onto Ice Ice Baby, and now the dive is being thought about by Elevate, but they decide against it. Their better judgment there. Cheerio finds the ultimate onto Wolfie, gets that big burst heal off, and the bracer of undoing. All of a sudden, Cheerio's ready to fight again. Little Legend's gonna fall before his ultimate goes off. Wolfie's ultimate wasn't impactful. Kalas gets jumped on by No Numbers. His rival still trying to get on the board for the first time this set. Beautiful play out of Nulissa to find Wolfie underneath his own tier 2. Kalas now juking around Dardes. Still healthy enough to start the dive onto this tower. Goodness. The combination is good. Dardes may have gotten caught taunting. The bracer of undoing. Dardes is just standing there. The absolute disrespect out of this man who has no regard for the damage that Ice Ice Baby is doing.
The baits here. Dardes known to be that baiter, trying to, you know, just wave and clap at his opposition like, nice try, guy. But either way, great confident play out of No Numbers, using Eagle's Rally at 20% health into a Vulcan. Even if it is a level 10 Vulcan, one combination between that backfire meatball is enough to probably take 20% health off of a Bologna.
Is this a game that is this a set, I should say, that could potentially stick with Rival with how poorly this has gone?
Considering that Valencia is next, if they don't make Valencia, if Enix 2-0's energy, then yes, Rival will be looking back at the set like, what did we do here? If they don't win any games, right? But if they still make to Valencia, I'm not expecting it to really make that big of an impact towards their mentality, because everything changes at LAN. Everything starts off fresh.
Wolfie is going to be fresh after he respawns. Kalas, he will as well. Double kill, elevate. They've got 10. Vote, he's still going for it. 1 HP, Jermaine gonna get up into the sky, needs to find this third shot. Not gonna do it, but the minions do it for him, and the minions don't kill Jermaine. He Aegis out the last Archer shot, and Rival still getting blanked. Oh, Little Legend's got to find this one, right, Tolly?
He needs to find one cudgel. He's going to roll into the minion wave to sacrifice himself. No kills on the board for Rival still, despite this rotation from the Sun Wukong. Wow.
That hurts. That hurts. 1 death on the side of Elevate, but no kills for Rival. Ice Ice Baby trying to get some farm for himself. Continues to go into the enemy jungle despite being this far behind. Nulissa going to drop the ultimate to guarantee it and do the damage to Ice Ice Baby simultaneously. Typhoon trying to knock up Cheerio. The beads are well timed. There's the taunt and there's the kill. Dozen on the board now for Elevate. Cheerio 5-0-2.
This is just desperation mode now from Ice Ice Baby. He's like, all right, I can't even farm my own jungle. I'm going to try to go farm the enemy's jungle. But Nulissa's like, what are you doing, mate? You know I'm an Isis. I could just stun you. I can slow you.
Now, to be fair, Ice Ice Baby baiting out that circle of protection probably prevents Elevate from getting a Gold Fury in that scenario. A guaranteed one at that. Wolfie's ultimate still being down. I don't think there was any chance for a steal from Rival, so... calculated, question mark?
I don't know. At level 9 Susanoo compared to a level 14 Erlong Shen, you really need to look for a guaranteed farm more than trying to stop the enemy team from getting a Gold Fury.
Cheerio and No Numbers boxing 3 versus 2. Vote is here, and he's been the one for Rival that's been doing the bulk of the damage for them. No Numbers going up and down. 3-man stun with the Eagles rally, and it's an absolute decimation in the jungle of Rival. Nice ultimate there out of Vote. No Numbers is getting low. Vote finally puts Rival on the board for the first time in 2 games.
Nulissa, though, trying to get the Wingist off to Little Legend. Gonna miss one of them. Connects on the in-hands right before the cloud. Vote trying to box out Cheerio. Nice stun from Nulissa, just saving her jungler. Yet again, on the board is Elevate, just absolutely dominating Rival, only finding 1 kill in that whole encounter.
Wolfie and Vote seem to have switched here, Tolly, and I really like this decision. Wolfie, he's just food in that mid lane right now. There's only a 1 level difference between Vote and Wolfie, but you saw how much of a difference having that Karnanos in that jungle made for Team Rival. They got themselves on the board and almost found a double for Vote. Wolfie needs to find some solo farm, and putting him in the duo lane is a pretty safe way of guaranteeing that as Elevate starts up another Gold Fury.
No vision.
Wolfie places a collect call, but no one answers from Elevate.
No vision from Rival, and that's why we saw that blind ultimate from Wolfie, just hoping and praying that the Gold Fury would still be leashed and low enough to be able to steal away, and that could have been the catalyst towards Rival getting the, not the lead, but just cutting the lead out of Elevate. But No Numbers with a probably maxed out Scourge here, gonna be able to tank this Gold Fury long enough for Jermaine to burn it down.
I don't think anyone's gonna be in the neighborhood, Tolly, and Rival Probably, like you mentioned, no vision. They probably don't know exactly if this is going on, but they've got a good idea that Elevate has just secured Gold Fury #1. Combo there, gonna hit onto Wolfie. No damage from the silence, but plenty of damage coming out of Cherio. Ice Baby, by the way, is again in the enemy jungle. Wolfie's on the run, jukes out that root, but cannot juke out Cherio, who is level 16 at almost 15 minutes. Unbelievable.
Another surrender vote, though, has been started from Rival. I wouldn't be surprised if their mentality has been so shook that this actually goes through, but Elevate, commanding lead 15 minutes into the game.
There's that combo you were talking about, Toli. Kalas goes for the root, but gets silenced out by Dardez, and he's going to fall instead. Jermaine looking for the shots onto the little legend, finds all three just for good measure, but it's not enough to find the kill as Elevate find the tier 1 tower in mid. 500 more gold for them as if they needed it. They're already nearing that 10K mark. 8,000 gold in the lead.
Fire Giant call maybe, or just waiting for this Portal Demon to respawn. Perfect timing also. This is how you can tell Elevate are here to play. Despite not being able to make towards Valencia, they don't want to be relegated. They already secured their position out of relegations from winning the last game, but just for good measure, they want to make sure like, hey, we are pretty good too. We got the plays.
Ultimate onto Vote from Dardez, making sure he's not going to do quite as much damage as Cherio continues the chase. Vote locked down and controlled. Jermaine with the kill, but it was Dardez on the knock support that allowed it to happen. Nulissa finds number 20 this early for Elevate, and now they're continuing this bloodbath in Rivals jungle. Dardez finds his third. Spirit Ball not gonna hit on Akalas. He's gonna be able to escape, but man, Elevate is taking not only the kills, Toli, but the objectives as well. It's just been complete domination.
With his 21 kills, this is a game that you're kind of saying to yourself, man, we should have had Nike this game, right? But this is why we're seeing No Numbers build into the height of the Urchin. He's expecting to just win these team fights non-stop. No possible contention out of Rival, as they've only gotten 1 kill and then force a sacrificial play out of Jermaine to prevent another kill. And this kind of momentum from Elevate just goes to show they got everything on lockdown.
Ice is getting baited.
Wow.
Again.
That's
Kalas is getting baited again. Kalas gonna dash towards the enemy jungle, pop the ultimate to give himself the movement speed. Dardez, blink, knocks. Those are the plays, boys. Write it down, because that's the next meta for sure. Kalas falls to the hand of No Numbers. That's his third kill. As Elevate really just continues to where is Vote right now?
Hello, Vote. Can anybody hear you right now?
Nope. Nope, because he's dead. Because No Numbers finds another one. Elevate has just broken the spirit of Rival in this set. Clearly not playing up to their usual standard as Wolfie continues to just farm in that duo lane safely. He's gonna do a little bit of solo gameplay, some PvE to clear his mind.
I'm not sure if Rival are a little burnt out here this late into the SPL split, but this is a team that's beaten Energy not once in a LAN environment, but twice. Being able to take out the 2-time world defending champions is a great task to perform, but losing to Elevate here in such a fashion, it's a little too lax of a playstyle that I'm seeing out of Rival.
A lot of it, again, when you're playing with a sub, your team mentality suffers almost immediately on basically every team I've ever been on. Every team that I talk to, they always say, yeah, when there's a sub there, it's kind of whatever. It's kind of whatever that Dardez is going to find another one with this knock support. 5-0 and 16. He's been a part of 21 of Elevate's 25 kills. He's got plenty of CDR in that build. No auras outside of the Shogun's Kasari. Not that usual Sovereignty, Gauntlet of Thebes, but those have recently taken nerfs, Toli, and both supports have gone for different styles.
Look where Ice Baby is just farming the speed buff while his team is losing the right side Phoenix. A level 12 Susanoo that's 6 levels behind, needs to farm to be able to get back in the game, and he's willing to sacrifice his Phoenix to do so.
I mean, it's a speed buff, Toli. What can I tell you when you've lost every one of them in the game so far?
Rip. That's the best way to describe this whole entire set, that one global emote.
No Numbers has no fear, as well as No Numbers in this solo side. Might be thinking about his decisions now, as he doesn't have that ultimate or a bracer of undoing. He also has gone for the blink, just as Dardaz has. Meanwhile, Votes split pushing on the mid lane, but Dardaz is looking for the kills, forces out the Aegis from Wolfie, but still alive, level 16 on this Nox support. Now he finds the combination onto Little Legend, locking him in place for the moment, and allows Jermaine to find another kill for Elevate. He's gone for the Transcendence and the Shifter's Shield, thinking he's got enough damage in that build. I mean, that's plenty to shred through. Vote is going to find the tier 2 in that mid lane, so 1,500 gold, make that 2,000 after the mid tier 1 as well. Goes Rival's way, and even with that boost of gold, they are still down a monumental 13,000.
It's just incredible what Elevate has been able to do this whole entire set, just making Rival look almost like a challenger team that has never played in the SPL before, where we're seeing a split push Kurnos at 20 minutes in the mid lane, not even his natural lane, and then we're seeing a level 12 Susanoo just ignore the right side Phoenix defense. These are not the basic elementals of playing competitive Smite, but when you're this far behind, that playbook just goes out the window.
It really does. Very clear to me that Rival has just kind of accepted their fate in this set. But going back to what I asked you earlier, I think I agree with your assessment that as long as Rival makes Valencia, I don't think this is going to affect their team mentality too much. It's clearly a team that excels in LAN environments, high energy, very good friends between the 5 of them, and so the LAN environments can really help out in a scenario like that. These online games, it's tough, yes, and depending on how Rival's preparations go pre-Valencia, maybe we see a fall off from them there, from how they performed at the Spring Lands, but if I'm a Rival fan, I wouldn't be too worried about this, though I certainly wouldn't be excited about our prospects, at least for the time being. Wolfie's excited to try and get back to his fountain, but I don't know if he's going to be able to. Good transformation there, and Vote, with help from the Titan, will find his second kill and let No Numbers know about it. There's the blink forward from Dardaz. The snipes almost there from Jermaine. Can't quite find it. Ice uses the purification beads. He's taking Dardaz for a run. There's the bracer of undoing to get the cooldowns back for Dardaz. Now only 2 members, Vote and Wolfie, still alive. Elevate decide they're just deciding what they want to do with their victim right now, Totally. This has been cruel and unusual what they've done to Rival.
Just waiting for the 5 minutes before they end the second game of the set. They won the first one in great, incredible fashion at about a 14-minute surrender. Now about to win the game in 22 to 23 minutes. I wouldn't be surprised if they just wait out for this Fire Giant respawn in 50 seconds to be able to just hit that last nail in the coffin.
No circle of protection from Nulissa. I think the big reason why we don't see Elevate go for that end.
At the same time, though, No Numbers did commit so hard towards the kill onto Wolfie that he forced out the ultimate from both Wolfie and Vote. Would have been a little easier now without those 2 ultimates for Elevate to get in there and get the Titan kill, but with everything still on the line here, well, not really for Elevate since they're out of relegations now, they still want to confirm the kill as cleanly as they possibly can.
No Numbers has both deaths on Rival that actually, or on Elevate that actually went Rival's way. Gotta have a talk with him after the game, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, just underperforming.
Even, I mean, this is, look at the itemization from Elevate. You could just look at so many of these items and be like, all right, if you don't have this kind of a lead, you can't get away with this. Odysseus bow from No Numbers, Blink on a support Nox. That's not something that you can really be able to get away with in a game that's even.
And Bologna, Blink Bologna as well.
Oh, wow.
I mean, there's plenty there. Elevate trying to finish off this set. They've got the Fire Giant. They've got almost 30 kills in 23 minutes. It's been a tough showing for Rival, if you couldn't tell just by looking at the scoreboard. It's been a tough time for the Little Legend, who has not had the SPL debut he was hoping for, subbing in for Deathwalker in that solo lane 0, 8, and 1.
I mean, he's going to be a legend, but in the wrong kind of way that he's been thinking about being able to get the second victory here, Elevate in the throne room.
Nulissa is going to get controlled a little bit on that right-hand side, but meanwhile, Elevate is ending it on the left. They do end with a clean 30 to